Welcome.
Hello, everybody. Thank you very, very much for a very, very nice welcome. Thank you. Appreciate it. I got to tell you, I just got very excited the first time I'd seen that piece, and it was very, very exciting to see Yggdrasil in Joe's movie. So it was very exciting to be part of the Marvel Universe. And it's very, very nice to be here. But I'm a Comic-Con virgin, so thank you for having me.
Ken, one of the things that you talked about is that growing up, Thor was near and dear to your heart. I think, I'm not sure that surprises people, but talk a little bit about that.
Well, I'm not a comic book nerd, I'm not like the experts in this great room, but I did read English comics, The Hotspur, The Victor, strange titles like that, and The Eagle, adventure stories, and some fun ones like The Beano and The Dandy. I knew very little about American comics, I have to confess. I knew about Batman, I knew about Spider-Man, but the one I loved was Thor. I loved the name. I loved the treatment of it on the comics. I loved the fact that he as a character was such a combination of sort of primitive, brute strength. He was always incredibly impressive on the covers. I liked the fact that he was in a very dysfunctional family. I enjoyed that. And that the stories were epic, you know, that they went on journeys and you went to exotic places, other worlds, monsters. I found all of that completely captured my imagination. So when this came up, I thought with Marvel, you know, and Kevin and all the boys and Craig Carl and all that, the brilliant colleagues on this, that it would be fantastically exciting to kind of evoke the visual and pictorial world of all of that. If we could do great story, which these comics brilliantly inspire, and great characters, which these comics absolutely have, and great performances, which is absolutely key, and the gods smiled on us, and we had an absolutely fantastic cast, and I would very much like, if you would like to meet that fantastic cast, over to you, Ken.
All right, let's start. We have as Agent Coulson, Clark Gregg. As Loki, we have Tom Hiddleston. In the role of Darcy, it's Kat Dennings. And from the professional to the Star Wars universe, I think you know this next actress, Natalie Portman. The first person to introduce him this way, ladies and gentlemen, the God of Thunder, Chris Hemsworth. Welcome, everybody.
He's a father in Star Trek, right?
So Chris, I wanted to ask you right off the bat, you know, one of the most interesting things about Thor is the hammer, obviously, and the use of the hammer. It's not necessarily the most obvious and natural thing to think about. I mean, most people use guns and knives and swords in films. How did you find that hammer, using it, swinging it?
Yeah, it was, you know, a lot of looking at the comics and working out, you know, how the guy postured and how he held his weapon, and then, you know, talking about functionally how if you were to hit someone with this thing, what would be the most effective way. And, you know, we worked out you know, a number of different versions of that, I guess, and yeah, well, it's the same as the costume. It is the character, a huge part of the character, and when wearing the costume and holding the character certainly, you know, does a lot of that work for you.
Yeah. And then, you know, Ken mentioned the dysfunctional family, and for you, it must be interesting. I mean, your father obviously is being played by Anthony Hopkins. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. Look, one of the most humble, talented people we've ever met, and the enthusiasm he brings to set is that of someone on their first day of shooting any film, and that was the most inspirational thing to be around. Was, you know, a number of occasions he'd look at me and say, "God, isn't this fun? You know, Ken is one of the best directors I've ever worked with," and just, you know, he was having a hell of a time, and we all were, and it was infectious. Yeah, he's amazing.